everyone for coming today. And this is my personal tribute to my mom. A lot of you didn't know my mom, so I'm going to tell you about her. I want to be like my mom when I grow up. She was very gracious, lovely lady. She always tried to see the best in people. She loved her family. Family was foremost in her thoughts and prayers. She loved my dad, and they were very devoted to each other. They took care of each other. Mom had the gift of hospitality. She loved to entertain and seemed to do it effortlessly. She had bridge club parties and Sunday school parties and PEO events and, of course, family events. She was very good at keeping track of all the details. She was one of the main ones in charge of the family gatherings until just the past 6 months with her health declining. She was very, very courageous. She had many health challenges, which would have overwhelmed most people. 45 years ago, she was diagnosed with Addison's disease, an autoimmune disease that affects your adrenal gland and every body system. She had to be her own advocate for her health since most doctors had no experience with Addison's disease because it's so rare. She also battled lupus and arthritis, having a colostomy, macular degeneration, hearing loss, and finally, some mental decline. She was resilient and overcame the debilitating effects of these diseases with courage and determination. She relied on her faith in God to help her. She always maintained a lovely appearance. It was a rare occasion when she missed her weekly hair appointment with her hairdresser, Pat. Her hair was coiffed and her fingernails painted. That's how she greeted every day. She was a wonderful cook. She could cook anything from simple to the gourmet. Jeff and I loved when she would have bridge club parties because there was some extra special food to sample. She prepared balanced meals with veggies and fruit and dessert, of course. Mom was a very spiritual person. She took us to church with her, read Bible stories to me. She was very active in church until the last year of her life when the mobility issues prevented it. Mom and Dad were charter members of St. Luke's Methodist Church in Ponca City. She modeled how to pray at meal times and bedtimes, and she was always praying for our family and for other people. My niece Jessica asked her a few weeks ago what she could pray for my mom, and she said, just pray that I can always remember to call on Jesus. That prayer was answered, for we did indeed hear her calling out for Jesus in her final days. Her house displayed her creativity with arts and crafts projects that she did. She scrapbooked, and the scrapbooks are out there, to celebrate and create family photo albums, which the whole family enjoys. She did craft projects with the children and the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren. She was always thinking of others, especially her children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. My children remember fondly the root beer floats with the crazy straws. The great-grandchildren could always count on some special treats from Great Mama. That's what they called her. And she also had a closet that was filled with toys to entertain them. She was proud of her children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. She always encouraged us to do our best. She took good care of us. When Jeff and I were little, she would spend late nights bringing down our fevers, giving us medicine. Her hugs and kisses were healing to us. She and Dad even flew all the way back from Europe when I became ill and was in the hospital for 10 days. She and Dad had to take care of me several times when I was experiencing some illness. She encouraged us in all of the activities that we were interested in. She invested time with being a Campfire Girl sponsor for me both in grade school and when I was in Horizon Club in high school. She encouraged me in the pursuit of vocal music. She paid for private voice lessons. She encouraged Jeff with Boy Scouts by being his den mother, and she encouraged him in his participation in wrestling and swimming and baseball and football by always being there to cheer him on. Our house was the happening place in the neighborhood. There were always fresh cookies and Kool-Aid for the neighborhood kids to enjoy. I was always hosting some neighborhood activity like playing school or doing plays or pretending to have a hospital in our garage. When we moved to a bigger house in Ponca City, our side yard, which was huge, was the football field for the neighborhood and the tetherball court. Mom loved flowers. There were always flowers outside and inside. In the later years, the porch was filled with potted plants, which were easier to care for. Her house was always clean and orderly, ready for company. She had many helpers with the housework, but the best and most beloved was Maria. Maria is a wonder woman who cleaned, cooked, organized, and cared for Mom and Dad. She anticipated every need before we even knew we had a need. My mom loved my dad, and he loved her. They supported each other and cared for each other until the very end. They would tag team with the meals until the last 2 months when the health issues prevented that. She would plan what they were having for every meal. Mom and Dad's relationship was so sweet. They truly adored each other. They hated being apart. Their whole lives were centered around each other. My mom and dad spoke very kindly and respectfully to each other. They valued each other's opinions. My mom could be very feisty too, and let her ideas and opinions be heard. She could be a force to be reckoned with when she made up her mind. But she would listen and consider your opinion, especially if it was really important to you. She was fearful and anxious her last days because almost everything was out of her control. So she tried to control everything that she could, but to help give her peace of mind. Even in those anxious days, she remembered to call on Jesus for peace. She was a great listener. I called her every day, and she was always very interested in my day. She loved being physically close to us. She loved holding our hands and being hugged and having us hug her and loving her, having her hair stroked. She was always generous with her money and her things. She was always thinking of things that she could give or share with someone else. She even liked sharing her food in the hospital or rehab. She didn't eat very much towards the end, so if there was something that she really liked, she wanted me to eat it. She encouraged me with singing and dancing. When she was in junior high, she played the violin, and then she changed to vocal music in high school. And she was part of a double trio that traveled to perform. She did speech and debate competitions, and she encouraged me when I tried that in high school. I love to hear Mom and Dad sing together. They both have very nice voices. Mom encouraged us to be hospitable to others. Our church in Ponca City invited children from the children's home to come to the church with us and to come over for dinner. We developed a long-term relationship with one girl in particular, Christy. Her teacher said that our relationship with her had a great impact on her life. We also had some boys from the nearby military school come in and visit us too. When Mom and Dad went to Mexico City with some friends, they met the Castellanos. They had a daughter who was my age, Lisi. We made our own exchange program. Lisi came to our house for 3 months, and then I went and lived with her family for 3 months. It was a wonderful experience. Mom loved to travel and see new places until her health prevented it. They had many wonderful trips to visit across the United States and Europe. Mom loved music. She loved singing and listening to music, and she loved to dance. One of her favorite pictures in the memoir book that she created was a picture of Mom and Dad doing the jitterbug when they were in college. Mom loved animals. She had horses, and she had many dogs throughout her life. She said dog and horse books were her favorite books to read. She had many dogs as pets throughout our childhood and beyond. Vicky the Schnauzer was probably the most memorable and the longest lasting dog companion. Vicky never missed an opportunity to run away, even when she was blind and deaf. Mom was also a good student. She encouraged us to be good students. She helped us with our homework, and Mom went to college for 2 years, and then, at that time, you could teach. You could teach elementary school if you'd had 2 years of college. So she began her teaching career in Rolla, Missouri, right after they got married. Okay. While Dad was finishing his chemical engineering degree at the Rolla School of Mines. Then she went on to finish her education degree at the same time that I was in college. Of course, she was an all-A student. Mom was a great teacher. She became a kindergarten teacher when our church in Ponca City opened a private kindergarten. In those days, there were no public kindergartens. She was a wonderful, patient teacher. When she spoke, the children listened. She was definitely an inspiration for me to become a teacher. My mom was a wonderful person, mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, and friend. I hope I could be half of what a lovely person that she was. I will miss talking to her every day, but I know that she is with Jesus, and that I will see her again.